What's up, y'all? We are back. Brand new series here. We're going to be doing the Miami Marlins. And the reason I'm starting a new series is I've been having troubles with the old version of the game crashing. Just got tired of it. Became mature to kind of, go through and save all the time and have the risk of it crashing. So, this is a new version of the game. I hope it's stable. And I hope we can start getting some more content out. So, yeah, we're starting up with the Miami Marlins, who are off to a horrible start in real life. Their team is kind of completely falling apart. We still have Luis Ariz here. Not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. I might just keep him because I do really like him as a player. But, yeah, he's been traded to the Padres, obviously, in real life. So that's something to monitor. I think I'll probably keep him as if this is a what if, the Marlins could actually put together a decent team. So yeah, Luis Ariz here to stay for now, but we'll kind of see how the series goes. So yeah, this team's in really rough shape. I kind of went through and set up my farm systems and everything, and man, it's really bleak. So player development, 26th farm system. You have one guy in the top 100 toward the back end, number 92, Noble Meyer, who I believe was a first round pick, 2023. Yeah, looks like a decent arm, but I mean, if this is your top prospect, it's kind of bleak. It's not like anyone's really sticking out to me when I go through. Like Thomas White, again, decent arm. Jacob Berry, decent first base prospect for what that's worth. And Victor Mesa Jr., not to be confused with Victor Mesa, who is actually in the farm system, but is kind of flamed out. Looks pretty promising and could make an appearance on the Major League roster. He's in AAA, though. The reason I start with the farm is because, man, this Major League roster is not the best. You got Jazz Chisholm, who is a good player, but probably not a center fielder for me. I mean, he's going to play center field for me just because we have no one else, but long term, he's probably not going to be in that role, I'd say. But, a good player, a good building block for sure. But, it's more of like a six hitter, your fifth best player, maybe. That's what he is. Luis Ariz, a good player as well. I'm sure he's a really good player in OOTP as well. But yeah, it's if that's your best, by far best player offensively, it's pretty bad. So we'll start with the offense just because that's kind of going to be a focal point of this rebuild. Because man, I don't know the last time they had a really good offense since the Giancarlo, Marcelo Ozuna, Christian Yelich, JT Realmuto days. And I don't even know if those teams were that... Well, they were good, but the pitching really let them down during that era. So, yeah, they really haven't had an offense since they traded all the guys away. And, they made the playoffs last year, 2023, but they kind of snuck in. I'm pretty sure they made the playoffs, right? Yeah, they kind of snuck in and, got annihilated the first round. But they overperformed, and this year... have not taken a step forward, and obviously they're horrible in real life. So yeah, the offense, we're gonna have to fix this. They got some bad contracts on the book. Avisail Garcia under contract for this year and next year, team option, which we will obviously not pick up. Man, this contract's been a total disaster for them. He's just fallen to one of the worst players in the league since he got to Miami, which is surprising because I remember back in his White Sox days, or even his early Detroit days, everyone was like, oh, he's the next Miguel Cabrera. And he had a good year, a couple good seasons in here. I think 2017 he was an all-star, had an awesome season. Then his last year in Milwaukee was also good, but yeah, he's very up and down. Check out these WRC pluses by year. It's yeah, that was probably, I didn't think it'd be this bad, but an ill-fated contract pretty much from the start. But we do have some other good players. Jesus Sanchez is definitely a serviceable corner outfielder for the moment. Brian De La Cruz, kind of same story. Very similar players. Those guys both factor into our immediate plans. Not sure about long-term. Then you go around the infield, and it's pretty bleak outside of Ariz. You got Josh Bell on a one-year deal, making $16.5 million. He's a good player, but... probably not the first baseman I want long term. Jake Berger, He's off to a really bad start in real life, but has some good ratings. He's going to split some time between the middle infield. I kind of already set up my lineups. He's going to play some third base, play some first base. He'll move around a little bit. And then you got Tim Anderson, who has been objectively one of the worst hitters since he got smacked in the face by Jose Ramirez last season. He doesn't even have a single home run since that, I've been seeing. So very interesting. You could definitely do worse at shortstop, but yeah, he's not in our long-term plans, I'd say. But, he'll be our two-hitter just because we don't have much in terms of offense. And then the bench is pretty bleak as well. Vidal Brujan, once pretty highly touted prospect, now kind of just a, quad A player, I'd say. He's really never hit in the majors at all. Nick Gordon had a little run a couple years back from Minnesota. It was horrible last season. He's had some injury issues. Former first-round pick. I think he was a pretty early pick, too. Yeah, 5th overall back in 2014. Has never lived up to the hype. Then Jonah Bride, a decent player, but could be a quad A guy, it looks like, just from kind of how he's performed in the majors so far. So, yeah, the offense pretty much needs a total overhaul. At catcher, it's... in real life, I think they have like a combined batting average under 100. I was kind of looking through Baseball Reference today, and Christian Betancourt and Nick Fortes, they've been like the worst catching duo. I'm not sure how they are defensively. I know Betancourt's had his issues defensively, but I'm guessing Fortes is probably a better defender than Betancourt at this time. So they'll split time, but definitely a position where you're going to look to upgrade. Pitching-wise, it's a little bit better. You got Jesus Luzardo at the top, who has emerged as one of the best pitchers in baseball, I'd say. Not this season, and I think he's hurt at the moment. But last year had a really solid season. Definitely one of the breakout candidates. One of the guys that I was looking at for, kind of long shot Cy Youngs coming into the year. What was that trade? Oh, yeah, that was 1-for-1 with Starling Marte. Yeah, so they stole him and our number 2 starter, A.J. Puck, from the A's. Puck was, I think, a 1-for-1 as well for J.J. Bleday. I think Bleday is actually having a decent year this year, but Puck has returned dividends for them as a really good reliever. We're going to give him a shot as a starter. He has the control. I think that was his issue in Oakland. Or I guess it was injuries mostly, but yeah, we're going to give him a shot as a starter. He's not had a good season in real life either, but behind those two, it's still looking pretty good. Trevor Rogers, once promising pitcher, has had some injuries and some underperformance since his breakout 2021, but we're looking to get him back on track here. A really quality number 3 starter, maybe a number 4 on a championship team. Then you got Max Meyer, another former top pick, number 3 overall in 2020. Looking like a promising arm for us, so we're going to hope to get some production out of him. And then Ryan Weathers will be our 5 starter just because he's starting for them in real life and hasn't been horrible. But yeah, another guy who was kind of one of San Diego's top prospects. They rushed him to the majors in 2021 in kind of their when all their pitchers got hurt and they had like the corpse of Jake Arrieta trotting out there for starts. So, yeah, he kind of maybe got ruined early, but I think he still has some potential. I like Ryan Weathers quite a bit as like a control arm who can pitch at the back end of your rotation, maybe a long man on a good team. And then in the bullpen, some pretty good arms. Tanner Scott, coming off a really good season last year from Miami. You could definitely do worse at closer. He's going to be a good arm for us, I hope. Anthony Bender, another really nice arm. A couple good pitches. Andrew Nardi, same story. So our back end, I really like this. Then George Soriano, a guy I'd never heard of before this, but coming off a pretty good year in 2023. He was actually defaulted to be a starter. I'm going to pitch him out of the bullpen just because his control is a little suspect with that stamina to hold a starting rotation spot. So he'll be in middle relief. Could be a starter long term. We'll see how he turns out. Then Sixto Sanchez reappearing this season for Miami after not pitching since 2020 when he kind of broke onto the scene for that playoff team in Miami. Then got hurt, I think, at the end of the year. Had a bunch of setbacks. Hasn't pitched since 2020, so 6-2 will start in the bullpen for us. Anthony Maldonado, another decent arm. Could definitely do worse. Had a really good season in AAA, looks like. He'll be on our opening day roster, I think. And then a couple of long men, Brian Hoeing, coming off a rough year, but he's kind of just going to be mop-up duty. And then Birch Smith, same story with him. Looks like he hasn't pitched since 2021 in the majors. I'm not entirely sure about his story, but yeah. And then you look in the minor leagues. There's not much to speak of. Will Banfield's a guy I like as maybe a long-term catcher. You could do worse. But pitching-wise in the minors, it's a little rough. And obviously we have the long-term injuries with a lot of our starters. Sandy Alcantara, our ace, will be out for the whole season. Hopefully we get him back next year, and he can pitch some meaningful innings. Yuri Perez looks like he'll be back in 6 weeks. I'm not sure if that's the case in real life, but really excited to get him back. He could frontline the rotation long-term with him and Luzardo, who has a couple years of control left. I'm not sure exactly how many. I guess I can go look. Let's see. Luzardo has 2 years after this, so not urgent to lock him up long term or anything, but we have a ton of long term flexibility with really Alcantara. I'm gonna go with Alcantara for the save. I've heard it said both ways, but Alcantara, the only guy really locked up long term, and a pretty affordable deal for an ace like starter. The pitching will be good, I think, long term. You also got a guy like Edward Cabrera, who I also like. He'll be back in 5 weeks. So, again, the rotation set up long term. Braxton Garrett, not even a guy I mentioned, but another guy who will be back soon. They have way more injuries than I thought, I'll be honest. Brazovan, another good arm. He'll be out for the whole season, though. Xavier Edwards looks like a decent player. Another farmhand from the Rays, it looks like. What trade did they get him in? Oh, that one went under the radar. It looks like he was in the Hunter Renfroe trade in 2019 for Jake Cronenworth. So he's another player, but this team just has no power. Like, Jazz Chisholm's like the only kind of power bat in this lineup. Josh Bell too, but he's not really a long-term piece. So basically this team is going to need a ton of work. Especially offensively. We need to get some power in the lineup. We need to pretty much upgrade at every position. So, that's where we'll start. Front office-wise, we're 28th in budget, 27th in player payroll. Small market size, probably, I guess we're third smallest market. And our fan loyalty is horrible, which makes a lot of sense. Just how the Marlins treat their fans and their players overall. So, again, long-term, we're looking really well with salaries, and kind of money we have allocated to the future is minimal. So, we don't have any bad players on bad contracts, basically, besides Garcia, but that's only another year after this one. So, that's where we'll start. We'll come back, update around opening day, and kind of see what's going on at that point. Okay, so already we have Braxton Garrett coming back on a rehab assignment. Xavier Edwards also back. I just outright him to AAA. He'll be up with the team at some point this year, but not at the moment. I'd like to run with the guys we have and see what we have in some of these players. And Braxton Garrett, he'll go on a little rehab assignment and hopefully be up with the team if one of Weathers or maybe Mayer struggles or something like that. But he'll get a full rehab assignment. So we have opening day here against Pittsburgh. Looks like Paul Skeens made the opening day roster for Pittsburgh. And I'll get player faces loaded in. Not the real ones, obviously, but I'll just fictionally generate all of them because I like having the pictures there. But that takes a very long time, so I'll do that after this episode. So game one, we'll have Luzardo against Mitch Keller, and we'll just sim through this. So game one, we win 3-2. 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th. Luis Arraez, a couple hits. Looks like Jake Berger had a couple hits and drove in a run, and Christian Bettencourt as well. And then looks like we had a non-RBI run. So Jesus Luzardo, 5 innings, 1 run. We'll take that all day. Sixto Sanchez picks up the win. 2 innings, 1 run, and then Bender and Scott close it out. Looks like we got to Aroldis Chapman. So yeah, we beat the Pirates on opening day. A good start to the season. So game 2 of Paul Skeens against AJ Puck, a couple of young starters, although Puck's not that young anymore. And we lose 6-0. Josh Simpson. Oh, pretty good arm. Okay. So we'll outright him to AAA. But yeah, we lose 6-0. Looks like scattered runs throughout the middle of the game, and then 1 more in the 9th for them. Only 3 hits as a team, 2 from Arraez, and 1 from Jesus Sanchez. AJ Puck, a decent start. And the rest of the bullpen, not too much, but Paul Skeens dominates in his MLB debut. And they get the job done. So we look to at least split the series here. It's a 4-game set. Trevor Rogers on the mound. And we win 3-0. 3 RBIs from Jazz Chisholm. A bunch of hits as a team. We had 9 total, but looks like it was a 3-run home run by Jazz in the 2nd inning. Trevor Rogers, an awesome start. 6 innings, shutout. And then a good job by the bullpen to keep them scoreless. So looks like Brandon Belt signed with Baltimore. I guess I could look at free agents, but I probably won't do anything. Yeah, I mean, guy's a good player. I'll throw 1 minor league. I don't like doing this too much, but I'll throw 1 minor league offer out there. And yeah, we'll monitor the free agent market as we go through the year. Just out of curiosity, the waiver wire looks like Brooks Raley, after the Mets traded for him in real life, signed him in real life, traded for him. Spends a year on the team. They waive and DFA him. Jorge Mateo, good player, but probably got pushed out by Jackson Holiday if he made the team. So yeah, we win that one. Then we go Herman. We'll make the start. Looks like he signed with them. Did he sign with them in real life? I have no idea. But game 4 of the season, Max Meyer against Domingo Herman. We go for the series win, and we win 3-1 to start the year, and a 4-1 victory. Jake Berger, 3 hits. Arraez continues to have multi-hit games. Max Meyer, a really nice start to begin his season. Sixto picks up a hold there, another good outing for him. And there you go. We win 4-1, 3-1, 3-1 start to the year. And we'll pick up probably sometime around early May and come back at that point. All right, so we're here May 8th. I'll explain why we're picking up at this point, but Marlins are 16-22. We are in 4th place in the NL East. We've been hit with a bunch of injuries, but none of them too substantial. Trevor Rogers just went down the other day with biceps tendonitis. He'll be out for 5 to 6 weeks. Max Meyer also went out for about, I think it was 8 weeks at the time. And Tim Anderson also just went out, but he's been so bad. I said you could do worse than him at shortstop. I'm starting to second guess that at this point. He's been so bad. I don't even know if he'll be on the team when he comes back, but we'll see where we are. Brian De La Cruz also went out. He was having an okay year. Actually, pretty bad. Never mind. Everyone's been bad offensively. We're 15th in runs scored, 8th in runs against, last in pretty much every offensive category. Defense, we haven't been much better. Although we only have 7 errors on the year, which is definitely a good thing. But yeah, our range has been bad. A lot of that's our subpar infield defense. Luis Arraez, minus 5.5 zone rating in 34 games. That puts him at a 162 pace of minus 25 zone rating, which would be horrible. But yeah, offensively, there's been really nothing to talk about from our full-time guys. Avisel Garcia has been off to a really nice start, though. 131 WRC plus. So, I mean, our highest paid offensive player is doing pretty well, at least. Jesus Sanchez also been good, but a 30% strikeout rate. The walk rate's not too impressive. We'll see if he sustains that. Even Luis Ariz, a 321 average, but pretty empty. Only has 1 home run, 9 extra base hits. Jonah Bride's been good in limited time. Vidal Brujan, same story. He'll be getting a little bit more playing time here. Left field's kind of a mismatch between him, Nick Gordon, and Xavier Edwards, who I just called up. He'll be playing some left field here. Also right field a little bit too, just to get him some experience in the outfield. He does have some in center field, but not the corners. So, again, this is kind of a lost season anyway. I'm just kind of going to fly through it, but focus on the guys that I kind of care about long term. Jose Devers, also a guy that I called up. Absolutely no power, but a decent enough glove to cover shortstop for now. And then, he's a contact first bat. Him and Nick Gordon will pretty much split time at shortstop. Nick Gordon has been too impressive offensively. He got off to a nice start, but things have completely nosedived since. Josh Bell has been a complete disaster over at first. Christian Betancourt's actually been okay, but Nick Fortes has been, I'll just leave it at not good. But yeah, Jets just home 185 average, but he does have 8 bombs. Comes out to an 83 WRC plus. As our leadoff hitter, whatever. I just want to get him a ton of at-bats. Jake Berger's been fine, I guess, at third base relative to what we have available at that position. And yeah, I guess that's it offensively. Kind of to recap, pitching wise, it's been a little shaky with the starters. The bullpen's been mostly good though. Luzardo got off to a horrible start. I started limiting his pitch count, and he started to do better. But yeah, he had a good first start, a good second start, but then 3 really bad starts in a row. At that point, I started limiting him to 85 pitches. He's had 3 really solid starts since. So I hope that's indicative of what he's going to be in the future. I don't want to limit him to 85 pitches for the rest of his career, but we will for now to kind of get him some confidence and get him hot. AJ Puck, kind of same story. He's been really good. I guess better overall than Luzardo has been, but he also got off to a bad start. Edward Cabrera's come up, made 2 starts. Can't really take too much out of that. And Braxton Garrett's made 4 starts since coming back. The first 2 were shaky. Last 2 have been good. And then Yuri Perez, who is the reason that I stopped it right here. He'll be making his season debut against Tyler Glasnow against the Dodgers. So really excited to see what he brings here. He's limited to 80 pitches in that one. The bullpen, Tanner Scott's been awesome. Anthony Bender's been really good. Andrew Nardi's been fine. Looks like a few too many home runs for my liking, but besides that, he's been good. George Soriano's been a little shaky. Had a bunch of give up a run in an inning. Although he got off to a really bad start, so as you can see, the ERA has improved significantly since where he started. Small sample size, 17 innings. Not going to take too much from that. Anthony Maldonado has been really good in his first taste of major league action. Sixto Sanchez has been a little rough. A few too many home runs for my liking. But besides that, I mean, I'm going to give him some run. He's out of options. So he's got to stick with the team. We'll see where he is at the end of the season. I'm sure he'll stick with the team for the full year, though. Then JT Chargois. I think I'm going to go with that. Chargois. Only 4.5 innings. And Ryan Weathers has been good as a starter/long man. So there's that. Let's go over the guys who have had injuries. Trevor Rogers. Some good, some bad. He's had a couple of really good starts, a couple of really stinker starts. Overall, the walks have been an issue. Home runs have been an issue. Then Max Meyer wasn't pitching too well when he did get hurt. He was probably getting sent down to the minors regardless if he got hurt. And, if you're going to get hurt, it was a good time while we had some guys coming back. But I still have hope for him long term. I'm not too worried about him. we already talked about Tim Anderson. He's been horrible. So yeah, let's go through Yuri Perez's season debut against Tyler Glasnow. And we win 2-1. Not much offensively, but Yuri Perez gives us five innings. Walked 4 guys. Don't love that, but 1 run. You like the results at the end of the day. And the bullpen does a really nice job getting us that win. So we actually just swept the Dodgers. There you go. Crazy things happen in baseball. Look at that. So there you go. That's a good way to end this part of the episode. We'll go probably up to June, end the episode, and then we'll go through, draft trade deadline next episode. So, yeah, we'll see you in June. All right, so it is June 4th. The Marlins are 25-35, keeping our head above water. We are in last place, but, it could definitely be worse, although we are the 3rd worst team in the NL. So I guess it's pretty bad, but things have gotten more on track, I think. The pitching rotation's been a lot better. Yuri Perez has been sensational since coming off the IL. 5 starts, 27 innings, ERA, a .66. Yeah, he's been awesome. AJ Puck also been good. Luzardo is stabilized, although I'd like to see him be a little bit better, but he's been fine. Edward Cabrera has been bad. I hope things improve for him, but the peripherals look okay if you get the walks under control. But I guess that'll always be an issue for him. Then Braxton Garrett's kind of stabilized as well. Too many home runs. Bullpen, pretty much good. No real weak links. We called up Matt Andrees just to be a long man, eat some innings for us. While we try to get our starters back on track. Offensively, it's pretty much it's a shit show. Jesus Sanchez has been good. I don't know if this is what I'd want out of my right fielder, but he's been a fine hitter so far. Luis Arraez, 314 batting average with 13 extra base hits. Just an empty batting average guy, playing horrible defense. We'll see where he is long term. Maybe he's just a DH, or he really can't even play first base because he's too short. But we'll assess that later. Jazz Chisholm is kind of stabilized, 222 average. He's up to a respectable number at least. Still has 11 bombs, so you could definitely do worse out in center field. And he's running him out down just fine, about a league average player according to Zone Rating. Avisail Garcia, he's been fine. Not living up to the contract, but he's been better than most of our hitters. Jake Berger also been fine. Brujan's fallen off since a hot start. Brian De La Cruz has not been good. He's just coming off a rehab assignment. We'll see how he recovers. He's played 2 games so far since coming back. Josh Bell has been a total disaster, although he has played a little bit better. He's kind of lost his starting job, kind of. I guess he really hasn't, because we've had some injuries, but yeah, ideally we're trading him at the deadline or the next couple weeks. Jose Devers has done nothing. Nick Gordon's done nothing. Tim Anderson is back on the team, mostly because we have injuries. He's going to split time with Devers and Gordon and all these guys. Let me change this. And then Nick Fortes has been horrible offensively. Not even that good a defender either, so we'll have to figure that out. But we're just going to roll with it this season. Honestly, the worse the better. Get better draft lottery position. And, we'll play from there. Still the worst offense in the league in pretty much every category. Our starters have improved, though. Our pitching has improved. We're 5th. We're around top 5 in most categories, which is really good. Defense has still not been good. A lot of that's dragged down by guys playing in position they probably shouldn't. Like Jazz, Arraez. Not like Jazz has been bad in center, but he'd be a spectacular left fielder. Let's put it that way, or a really good right fielder. And Arraez should not be playing second. Our corner outfielders aren't anything spectacular out there either. So it's a bunch of average defenders, and then Luis Arraez, who I feel like I'm slandering him a lot in this episode. I really like him as a player, but He is what he is. He's a really good contact hitter, but he doesn't do a ton else. So that's the only reason I'm slandering him. I do like him as a player, and I appreciate his game. So, that's our June update. I guess we can go through this Tampa Bay series and then wrap up the episode. Trade proposal, first one of the year. Let's see how bad this one is. They want Dane Myers, who's been killing it in AAA. I also I went and did my promotions. I usually do them every 2 months, so I'll do them June and then August and then end of the year. Or if guys are really killing it, then I promote them earlier. But I kind of went through and promoted guys and demoted guys as needed. But we have a couple guys in AAA who are kind of raking. Xavier Utter is one of them. Jacob Amaya, a guy I want to get up in the majors. He can play some shortstop, so I mean, it's all relative to what we have in the majors. He'll be a fine shortstop for our team at the moment, and I'd like to get him some at-bats in the majors. So he's a guy I'm looking to call up. Could be quite soon. Tim Anderson flames completely out. And Dane Myers, who we just saw in a trade offer, having a nice season. Our outfield's kind of stacked with a lot of these guys that are similar. So I don't know what his path to playing time is. Tristan Gray, another guy, but he doesn't really have a defensive home. I'd probably put him at first base, but doesn't really have the bat to play first base, so maybe just a third baseman. Corner outfielder, super utility guy. I mean, there's worse players, and then Will Banfield, a guy who also want to get up in the majors because our catching's been horrible, and he's having a decent year down in AAA and a good defender. That's kind of what's on the horizon pitching-wise. We did have one guy that I really like, Dax Fulton. He got off to a really good start in Double-A. Sorry, he didn't get off to a good start. He did. Okay, that's what it was. His FIP minus was much better than his ERA. The peripherals look good, so I called him up to AAA. He made one start. He was really good in it, so he's like a good back-end starter, a guy we can kind of look forward to seeing in the majors at some point. So I didn't realize we had Kent Manuel. Didn't he? Yeah. He had this stint with Houston. Hasn't made it back to the majors since. Interesting. Did he throw a no-hitter, or am I just imagining that happened? I don't know. I don't remember, but it seems like I feel like he threw a no-hitter or something. But anyway, we sent out George Soriano. He was doing really poorly up in the majors. Too many walks, too many home runs. It just wasn't working out, so we'll see. He's going to work as the starter in the minors, it looks like, so I'm actually cool with that. And we'll see if he can come back toward the latter half of the season. But that'll wrap up this episode. Next time we'll go through the draft, trade deadline, and kind of shake up this roster a little bit more. The first couple months are about, figuring out what we have on this team, basically. And, I think we have a good idea. Our pitching staff's pretty set. But this offense needs a total overhaul, evidenced by being the worst offensive team, probably by a country mile. That'll end the episode. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.